What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Hoodrat podcast. And guess who I got on the podcast now? I got Henry Barajas.
Hey,
how you
thank you.
Doing, bro?
I'm doing well.
Go ahead, man.
I'm here in Ontario Comic-Con Revolution. It's good to be back after 2 years.
I know, right? Is this your first con back?
No, I went to New York Con.
Oh, wow. How was that?
Bubble.
How was New York?
Oh, I love New York, man.
Yeah.
It's a great time. I love being there.
Okay.
Went to Thought Bubble in England.
England?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What city?
In Harrogate. It's north of Leeds.
I got you. It's always good to hit up towns other than London, you know?
Oh, yeah. I love London, too. Stayed there a couple nights. Yeah. No, very lucky that comic books take me around the world.
Hey, man. Hey, congratulations, man.
Thanks, man.
So you are the author of Helm Greycastle and Tata Rambo, man.
Yes.
Before we start, man, where can everybody find you, and do you have any future projects in store for the people?
Right now, I don't have any future projects because Helm Greycastle just came out in October, the trade paperback, so it's at comic shops all around the world, Amazon, Target, Walmart, wherever you get stuff.
Target and Walmart?
Yeah, you can order comics on targetandwalmart.com when you're getting your toilet paper and your snacks.
But I heard they're all out of toilet paper.
Well, after this weekend, I would not be surprised. So Helm Greycastle just came out, and I co-wrote that with Claire Napier, co-created it with Brian Valenza. The artist is Ramat Handoko. The idea is it's about Helm Greycastle and his cast of adventurers. They go to save the last dragon prince in a world where Azteca beat the Spanish conquistadors.
Really?
So
is that Latin based?
It is Mesoamerican-based history about the Mexica and just about a lot of history that I never got as a kid, but I wanted to convey it in a way that was, I think, more interesting than just like giving someone a textbook or like watching a documentary by some European educators. So used a lot of the Broken Spears novel. It's based on the indigenous account of what happened because a lot of the victors write the history books. So kind of wanted to flip the script on that. Worked with Tristan J. Tarwater and Jeffrey Golden. We did some 5e role-playing game, compatible D&D style gaming in every issue. And 3 of those games are in the trade paperback. So
how did that come to be? Because besides it, I could see the D&D influence. But how this idea come to be for Helm Greycastle?
Yes, it came to be because I was doing research on my other graphic novel, Voz De M.A.Y.O, Tata Rambo. It's about my great-grandfather who is a political activist, a World War II veteran, an orphan.
Really?
Who helped one of the last Native American tribes gain federal recognition. And while researching that, I realized that the Pascua Yaqui tribe that my mother's side of the family identifies as, I never learned about my history or learned much about the Pascua Yaqui tradition, so I just grew up in the reservation area and wanted to learn more about that. But in researching that, I fell into this rabbit hole of Mesoamerican history, then playing D&D myself and realizing that there is no brown characters in like Lord of the Rings or other big fantasy stories like that. So I wanted to find a plausible way to incorporate more diversity and inclusion of Latinos, Latinx, Latina people, and indigenous people, and Afro Latino. Yeah, man.
It seems like you're really focusing on the Latin voice. How important is that for us to have the Latin voice and not the European side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important for us to focus more on the indigenous account of history. So that's kind of like what I try to do with my work. Very lucky that this responded well to comic book stores, and La Voz De M.A.Y.O is like being sold at the Smithsonian's gift shop, and it's like in libraries and schools and classrooms, and so I'm very lucky that comics, for me, is a way to impart more history and get more people reading comics in ways that normally don't really get the kind of attention other than like books like Mouse in that kind of sense. But yeah, no, I'm super lucky that I can impart like my convictions. Like earlier this year, I did a Marvel comic for the city of New York to encourage kids to get the vaccine.
Oh, I know about that one.
Yeah.
Wow. Congrats, man.
Thank
you. Pretty awesome. And it's the one where if you got a vaccine, you got a comic, right?
Yeah. So I was very lucky to be a part of that And I'm super lucky that comics not only takes me around the world, but also helps me get my word out there and my kind of view on the world.
Yeah. It seems like a super, very interesting theme, and I think it doesn't just relate to the comic world. Have you talked anywhere else besides it's like Comic Cons and panels? Have you went to colleges or anything?
I've done some schools, high school Zoom talks, because a lot of this has happened during the pandemic. Unfortunately, I wish life would have panned out a little differently, but. I'm pretty lucky that I could still do Zoom talks with some high school classes, and I do my best to branch out of conventions because conventions have been closed until recently.
Yeah. So you've been doing a lot of Zoom conversations with high schools
kids. And libraries.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's congratulations on
Thank
that, dude.
you.
Yeah, because we need a lot more Latin voices. We need a lot more indigenous voices, a lot more voices of color, right?
I agree.
Yep. So let me ask. So I'm gonna start some fun questions, man.
All right, what's up?
So let's start off with this fun question because I always like to ask this question to a lot of comic writers or artists. What was your parents' reactions when you told them you wanted to be a comic book writer?
Confusion. I think parents want their kids to be rich and successful, not poor and misunderstood. But I think they kind of got it because I had comic books all over the house, in my bedroom, was collecting comics all my life. So I'm sure they weren't totally confused, but they probably didn't understand what that entailed. There's no comic book school. I mean, unless you're an artist and you go to Joe Kubert School or SVA or SCAD. But I'm sure they just were worried that I wasn't going to make a living doing it, which, they were right. Mm-hmm. But I think confusion was probably the thing.
Yeah, but you should let them know it's important for us to get, a Latin voice out there and a man of color's voice out there in comics.
I mean, you eventually move past that and
tell them about the movies. Like, hey, man, they're picking up movies all the time.
Right. I mean, for me, it's about the medium, and it's not about them, and it's about me as a storyteller and a love for the medium. Mm-hmm. So whether any of these things become film or television, I don't really, that's not where my heart is.
Okay.
My heart is making comics. And if all that stuff follows, great.
Okay. You are a creator. You are a creator. And that's what it's all about, right? Creating. And
I'm lucky.
You are, man. And you're doing awesome work. Who is your favorite villain?
My favorite villain? That's a good question. Right now, my favorite villain is the Green Goblin.
Okay.
Portrayed by Willem Dafoe. Such an incredible actor. Just saw the Spider-Man movie.
He was pretty awesome.
And and he is I just loved his performance and his just ability to toggle between Norman and the Green Goblin. He's my favorite villain right now.
Who's your favorite hero?
Oh, my favorite hero, that's tough. It's always Batman and Spider-Man, and I love Wonder Woman.
Okay, DC, huh?
DC. I mean, I'm equal opportunity.
Yeah, there you go.
I try not to brand myself as a certain, it's not a gang. I don't flash any colors,
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I think right now it's Spider-Man because I just saw the movie.
Yeah, it was a pretty good movie, man.
Yeah.
Another interesting question. What advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
Learn Spanish.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, learn Spanish and just learn to listen more and be more understanding and really just try to be more patient and, I don't know, just kind of read more. Mm-hmm. Don't cash your 401k when you turn 24.
Right.
Just things are going to work out, not as fast as you wanted it to be.
Okay.
But, just be a little bit more patient.
What advice would you give to a comic book writer that wants to break in, man?
Write comic books. You can make a tapas comic. You could do a webtoon. You can do a Kickstarter comic. You can publish it on Instagram. Simon Hanselman's Crisis Zone was published all on Instagram, and he won the Eisner Award for Best Digital Comic. So, there is the barrier of entry for comics is a lot easier these days. So, just write comics.
And last question, man. Very last question. I try to end it on a food question.
All right.
If your state was represented by a food, what food would that be?
My state
or your country could
if
be
my own state.
your own state.
Wow, that's a good question. It would probably be.
What state you from?
I'm from Arizona.
Okay.
The chimichanga was born in Tucson. Was
Chimichangas.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say chimichangas.
Chimichangas.
Deep fried
Oh,
burritos.
there you go, man.
Basically.
Is there? And thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate
Dude,
it, man.
Thank you for talking to me.
And one last time, where can everybody find you at, man?
You can find me in a ditch somewhere normally. No, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and yeah, you can find me there.
Okay, cool, man. We got Henry Barajas. There you go, man.
Helm Greycastle,
right.
Voz De M.A.Y.O.
Helm Greycastle, and
shout out to Hoodrat Comics Podcast.
There you go, Tata Rambo.
Thank you so much.
Very interesting. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Cheers.